Hey, 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 hey. So how many times can I say hey and it'd be okay with you? Like, when do I have to stop being silly and start delivering hard-hitting, hard-hitting, life-changing content for which I am internationally known? Who am I, you ask? Well, that's a weird question because my name's right on the title of this podcast. But here you go.
It's the Bob Doyle Show.
I'm Bob Doyle.
It's the Bob Doyle Show.
And this is my show.
It's the Bob Doyle Show.
It's the Bob Doyle Show. Okay.
It's the Bob Doyle Show.
All right, and now for some applause. It's way too loud. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, I have to confess, I have spent 11 hours in Google Earth VR in the past 3 days. 11 hours of my life spent traveling the world virtually. You know, virtual reality, that's why they call it that. It's not real, it's virtually real. It's so close to being real. But it's virtually real. But not, 100%. This is virtually. But Google Earth, of course, for those who don't know, Google Earth, and look, for those of you also, there's a lot of for those of you out there, but for those of you who have listened to me talk about Google Earth already by watching the Bob Doyle Show or following what I do on Facebook, which, if you're not, what? And for those of you listening on Facebook who just took this long to find the podcast, well, what? It's okay, a lot more people are going to find this podcast. Why, Bob? You ask, why? Why are more people going to find this podcast? Well, I'm going to tell you. Because there are people who actually do watch the Bob Doyle Show. I know it's hard to believe, but there are those people who on Fridays and Wednesdays, if they're into the law of attraction kind of thing, will pop on over to my place and consume the show. And I keep telling them about the podcast, but I don't really think they're paying attention. Now, if this doesn't apply to you, Dawn, forgive me. And anyone else who might finally be listening to this podcast. But look, I know I'm not very consistent with it. It's not like people are writing me checks every time I do a podcast, yet. So here's what I'm going to do with this podcast, I think. And I believe I have the Dawn seal of approval. So, and for those of you who are new, Dawn is the regular listener / viewer. That's right, but she'll go down in history one day when there are countless millions of Dawns all over the planet of Earth. The real one, not the virtual one. But is there really a difference? Can we really tell? I would put to you that we cannot tell. And I would put to you, changing the subject from what I was going to talk about, back to the whole conversation that, we, you, me, everyone, everything, that we know to be real and near and dear to our hearts is in fact a simulation. And the more I play with virtual reality, the more I'm convinced of it. That yes, me, Bob Doyle, a program running just like you, a program listening. Now look, don't worry, you'll go your whole life, you'll never know it. That's the design. Except, oops, I told you. Well, what you do with this information is up to you. But let's face facts. Can we? Are you up for it? Do you have it in you to face this fact? Because I got to tell you, could be confronting. Could be. But as I spent 11 hours so far on Google Earth, and will no doubt spend at least a good 90 minutes to 2 more hours in it today, I just got done flying over and through the streets of Manhattan and set foot in Central Park, which I've never done in real life, but now have virtually. So I'm seeing that our simulations are just going to get more and more realistic. They are. And because humans just have ideas to push, let's see how far we can push it. Of course, they're going to start to try to create, as they've already started, of course, artificial intelligence is nothing new, but to get even more realistic so that they could actually create simulations that to the simulations were completely self-aware, except for the fact that they didn't know they were a simulation. The artificial intelligence is so programmed, because depending on when the program was written, it's if you were to compare it with, oh geez, I'm going too many levels deep. Time for a sip of raspberry green tea, courtesy of our friends at Crystal Light, who do not sponsor this program. But they could if they wanted to. I'd be fine with it. But people are saying, but Bob, the aspartame, seriously, how many times do we have to talk about this? Look, you provide for me a beverage with 0 calories, with this amount of taste, that doesn't have the aspartame in it, I will gladly purchase and consume it. And don't even try to tell me, well, Bob, what about just regular tea? Because you know what? Sorry. This is like the exaggerated version of tea. It's like cartoon tea, if that makes sense. It's like tea, what tea would be like if it were a cartoon. Am I connecting with anybody here? Probably not, but that's okay. Is it okay? How long will it be okay, Bob? How long are you going to tell yourself it's okay? Okay. Anyway, where was I going? I wasn't really going to talk about the computer simulation thing, except that it's inevitable that we're going to try to create the most realistic simulations of life, the planet, and everything. We're already doing it. Google Earth is a bizarre, mind-bending example of where we're going. And it won't be long before game developers, anything, we can put stuff in the Google Earth. We're going to be able, I'm sure of it. We will be able to build little virtual houses anywhere we want to on Google Earth. Drive little virtual cars around the virtual city. It's absolutely, we'll be able to travel anywhere on the planet and interact using what's being built by Google Earth right now as a base. You mark my words. And before you know it, then there's the whole artificial, we don't know, and then there's us. There's people who are walking around with intelligence and all that, and they're a simulation and they don't know it. Because they're programmed not to know it. And they're programmed to see everything exactly as crisp and clear, and whereas people could be watching this on a monitor and, it's pretty good resolution, I would imagine. Look, I'm just saying we don't know. But it's highly unlikely that we're not a simulation. I know you're going, Bob, what are you serious? Do you really think that? Well, I'm just saying, extrapolate where we're going. Where is science going? Eventually they will create something that would be like what I'm talking about us being in right now. Evolution of all sorts built in, technology. It's just a program. It's a program that someone's running and have perhaps forgotten about. I know that I could use an upgrade in my brain area sometimes. I know you're going, yeah, do you hear yourself talk? I'm just saying to think outside the box. Are you in a box? Because if you are, well, eventually bugs get in there. And then what? Ugh, bugs. I do not like them, Sam I am. And I certainly will not eat them with a mouse. Or in a house, or in the rain, or on a train, etc. So time travel, since you brought it up. I was talking the other day on one of my many broadcasts. I don't even remember whether it was the Bob Doyle show or the Law of Attraction one. I've got to get this name convention stuff together. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? But I mentioned the other day something, and I said it out loud, and then I was like laughing about it. But then later I was thinking, because that's what I do. But here was the premise that the key to time travel is smell. And when I first said it, it was much funnier. It was like, it made me giggle in the moment. But now I can only relate it as a concept because I don't remember exactly what I said. Okay? I am unclear as to whether or not you're hearing me. What is going on here? I don't know how you're hearing me. I don't know if you're hearing me through the I hope it's not this headset mic. Oh, that would break my heart. Hold on. It is. Can I change this? Let's see. Trying. Can this take over? Yes. Okay. Now. Well, that's a shame. That's a darn shame. Because I was thinking this whole time that everything was sounding fine and dandy. But now I already know, because I've heard shows with this headset mic, and it's awful. Now you're listening and going, now this is a show I can listen to. I'd like to just start all over. Me and audio. I don't get it. I've been producing audio since I was a preteen, and I still have goofy problems like, oh, you should at least check that the mic you're using is in fact picking you up before you do 11 minutes of a show, of a standard quality. We don't start doing a good show at 12 minutes in. No. At 12 minutes in, people should be looking at each other going, this has been a really high quality 12 minutes of audio. That's what should be happening right now. But instead, you're not here because you listen to it and you go, is he using his headset again? What? Well, I'm really sorry. But anyway, time travel smell. You know what? I'm going to get back to that. Sorry. Because I started the whole conversation already about why are more people going to know about the podcast? Didn't I? Remember that? That was a while ago. Good times. Let's get back to that conversation. The reason they're going to know about it, as I started to say, there are these people who watch the show. See how I remember what I was saying before? And I shared with them yesterday a preview of a coming attraction I like to call the Bob Doyle Show mobile app. Ladies and gentlemen, I said mobile app. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Holy crap, thank you. That was an appropriate response. But among the many things that this mobile app will do, one of them is give you direct access to the mobile podcast. So you don't have, because I clearly can't get you guys just to go and download it or something. Maybe one or two of you. But this way I just say, you know what, fine, don't download it. Don't give me the credit. Don't let me be able to get statistics. Yeah, I did. I just turned up the audio. So now, at 14 minutes, now it's probably where it needs to be. Probably needs to be. Wow. I'm really sorry. I felt like I was on a good trajectory with the podcast, with the quality of it. I think number 7, the last one we did, it's just right where I want it. So I thought, well, I'm just going to do it exactly like I did 7. Did I? No. Still fumbling with audio settings and wrong microphones. Oh, Bob. So, anyway, we're going to be bringing out the Bob Doyle Show mobile app. And, for crying out loud. Thank you. We're going to be going through that soon. And it's got the podcast built in, along with links to other things Bob Doyle, including the our virtual reality site, and our law of attraction. That's right. I think we have a law of attraction site on there too. Archives of all the Bob Doyle shows. And, I just realized I think I might be able to, Does Instagram do an RSS feed? I don't know. I'm going to find out. If they do, then I can put my Instagram pictures in there too. Anyway, that'll be released fairly shortly. But I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to announce, officially, a Google Play developer and an Apple app developer. Thank you. And what I mean by that is that approved by Apple. And all that really means is I paid them some money and filled out a form. But now I can submit things to the App Store. So that was kind of a block that needed to unbeat. That was not a block. It was a step. That's what a step that I had to take before I can submit these apps to the App Store. And now that's done as of today. And now I just need some clarification on some of because man, oh man, when you submit something to the App Store, there's a lot of stuff to fill out. A lot. And pictures, lots of images. I don't know what that noise was. It was something downstairs. I can't be held responsible for everybody in my neighborhood, as much as I'd like to be. Boy, I wouldn't like that at all. I barely want to be responsible for me, let alone all these people who I don't even know. Why don't you know your neighbors, Bob? Oh, would you stop with that? I'm an entrepreneur. That means I work constantly, too much. I sit in front of the computer all day, and if I'm not sitting in front of the computer all day, I'm getting anxious about not sitting in front of the computer. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. I'm just teasing. It's not like that. It's not about that. My most successful happy times as an entrepreneur were when I was playing video games most of the day. I did a ukulele broadcast last night where I was featuring Christmas music. And no one paid me $1 million afterward. Can you believe it? What was I talking about? What? Who put a ukulele in my hand? All right. No, seriously, what was I talking about? I know I've been saying podcast and app. Something about time travel. Goodness gracious. And Google Earth. I have started 5, 6, 7 conversations, not finished one of them. Let me get back to... I don't even know what I want to get back to anymore. The app's coming out. Yes, app developer, long process, lots of pictures. So I'm waiting for clarification on that so I can finish and get that, the Bob Doyle Show app, uploaded to the App Store and the Boundless Living Meditation bundle. That's actually the first one I'm going to throw up there because that one's ready to go. Very excited about that. We'll see how Boundless Living does in the mobile app space. Using meditations as the first product to market. Will it be the only product? Well, that, my friends, is up to you. Will you be a part of the Boundless Living mobile app revolution by swooping in and spending your $1.99 on the Boundless Living Meditation Bundle, featuring 8 of Boundless Living's favorite, most loved meditations. Meditations for sleep, meditations for tapping into your passions, meditations for centering, and just some crazy brainwave stuff, too. Having trouble sleeping? Listen to our Invitation to Sleep meditation. Oh, did I mention that's also included? How am I not doing infomercials? Why won't someone hire me to do that? That'd be fun. Actually, you know what? I got to be honest with you. That's a bucket list item. I just want to host one. You know, I roll my eyes at them just like everybody else, but there's something about being that guy who can just sell the crap out of anything that I want to step into. I want to find the amazingness about the thing and have you see it too. Bucket list. So let's make that happen. Got off track again because I was talking about buckets. Why are we talking about buckets? Okay, app, Google Earth, virtual reality. What? Instagram, RSS feeds. Who knows anymore? So I have this program. I have this program called VR Capture. Tell us more, Bob. Okay. VR Capture allows me to record whatever game or whatever I'm playing in virtual reality so that you, the viewer, can play it back using Google Cardboard or some other virtual reality headset to play it back just as I have experienced it. Which sounds cool, is cool, but also it's so because you're seeing exactly like I did. You have no control as the viewer on which way you're going to look or anything. You just have to sit still, because if you stand, you're most likely going to fall over, because you have no say in which way this is going. And if you are a person who's prone to motion sickness, probably not a good idea to ever watch any of those. But I was recording in Google Earth like a fly-through of Manhattan and Central Park and that type of thing, and uploaded it to my YouTube channel, my Boundless Living VR YouTube channel. So for those of you with Google Cardboard headsets or something similar that will view side-by-side 3D videos, well, go on. Again, Boundless Living VR is the channel, and I just uploaded it, and it says something like Google Earth Test VR. I don't know. It's obvious. It's obvious. But I got a lot of Google Earth stuff coming up there, because I'm telling you, there's just something amazing about that program, and as I said on my show yesterday, I'm not the only one to say that. People all over the place are just having this mind-bending experience of being able to travel the world like that and see things like that. And as I say, it's clearly just going to get better and better, and it's very exciting. So time travel. So you know how when you smell a perfume or a cologne that you smelled, earlier in your years, and you're taken right back there, right? We all know this feeling. We all know how powerful smell is. You can smell it, just anything. And we'll say it in the moment. It's like, whoa, this is like time travel, right? So look, the time travel through smell theory goes like this. We just need to push it a little further. When that feeling of time travel comes on, we have to just even bring it in more and let it embody us and move us vibrationally out of the dimension that we're in into the dimension through which we're being called through that smell. Simple as that. See? All this time. So just do that, and you've got time travel licked. Right here on the Bob Doyle Show, explained in less than 1 minute. Time travel in less than 1 minute. People writing books and doing quantum physics. Just smell something and go with it. That's it. Smell something and go with it. Smell something and go with it. 6 words, secret to time travel. And we could probably condense those down. Smellaport. There you go. Smellaport. It's self-explanatory. I don't even need to break it down for you. Well, there are maybe some of you who say, well, wait a minute, Bob, I think you kind of rushed through one part there from us saying, oh yeah, this is time travel, and noting how it reminds us of a place, to traveling in time. You kind of just, there's a gap. You might be thinking that. Because you're, I understand, you're uninitiated. So, not everybody can just fill in the blanks like that. But, let me see if I can help you. Nope, can't help you. You either get it or you don't. I'm just kidding. Let's try and explore it a little bit. Should we have some It's not exactly the time-exploring chord. When we smell something that is familiar to us, we are often overcome with emotions, intense memories, visual and otherwise, of the moment or time that smell reminds us of. For those few minutes, it actually feels like we're there. But of course, our eyes are telling us otherwise. But what if we closed our eyes and settled into the moment? The moment that was being recreated and brought forth into our current experience through our magical, wonderful sense of smell. And what if we allowed the emotions that overcame us to get bigger and stronger? What if we concentrated on the visions that we might have of a time gone by that is now ready to be experienced again? I don't know why we had to go down a half step and adjust for a few seconds before I could continue explaining time travel through the sense of smell, but for whatever reason we did, and it's done, and let's get on with it. In fact, we could stop the ukulele altogether, and the theory would still hold. It's about vibrational alignment, ladies and gentlemen, right? Isn't that what the law of attraction is all about? Bringing yourself into the now alignment of what it is you're trying to attract. Now, some of us can call it attraction. Others of us might call it dimension shifting. What are you talking about? You know, the concept that everything is happening right now. There is only now. The time is not, in fact, linear, but more stacked. There's all sorts of different ways to look at it. But the point is, the only difference between the reality that we're experiencing and one of an infinite number of others is where we're vibrationally aligned. And how do we change our vibrations? Through our emotions. And how can we change our emotions? Oh, a lot of ways. And when we do that successfully and we change the vibration, and we then can change which of the infinite number of realities of the moment are happening. So we're actually, in every moment, we're shifting dimensions. In every moment. Right? I mean, okay, so we all know that. That's obvious. That's like first grade kindergarten stuff. So what if we just allowed it to go a little bit further? And allow ourselves to be literally vibrationally realigned with the time that's being generated us through that intense sense of smell, which brings forth sensory response like no other sense. Dare I say, even more so than sight. Our eyes can fool us, can't they, ladies and gentlemen? But our nose? You know, those of you who aren't listening to this show, well, aren't hearing me tell you how unfortunate it is that you're not listening to the show, because you just missed how to travel through time. On a podcast, no less. From a guy who has no business telling you how to travel through time using your nose, but is doing it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening. I laugh at myself every time I say that. You have been, the possibility has existed for you to listen to this, the Bob Doyle Show audio podcast, number 8. Soon, these audio podcasts will be recordings of our video Bob Doyle Show that broadcasts once, twice, 3 times a week on Facebook. So you'll be able to hear the audio of all the past episodes. Why? I don't know. It's just this idea I had, so I'm going to do it.
It's the